Hello, girls, simps, and non-binary pimps. I want to kill myself. Anyway, I'm not actually going to, but who knows. I haven't made a video in a long time, and my headphones, microphone is, currently shitting the bed right now, so it sucks. And, I'm waiting for, money to buy myself a headset that I can, like a Bluetooth headset, because my mic quality sucks with my AirPods. But I'm also kind of nasally at the moment, so I apologize for that. But I am in love with Niragi from Alice in Borderland. He comes in season 1, and if you haven't watched it, please, if you're okay with violence, blood, guns, anything of the sort, go watch it. It is a very good, very, very good show in my opinion. And I love his character. He's an asshole, he's evil, and does not do good things in the show, but he's hot. And I wanted to make a video for him because I can't find one. It's so obnoxious. Here we go. I guess I'll just come up with shit on the spot like I normally do. You're best friends with Kawina. She's a very strong woman. You know her background, and you're very proud of her for telling people about it and being very open with it. You're sitting by the pool before the game with the newcomers, Arisu and Usagi, when you see the militants walk up. You always had a very strange relationship with Niragi. One day he's nice to you, and the next he just acts like you weren't there. You never questioned it because when he's nice to you, he protects you. You're not the strongest, but you're not the weakest, but you always appreciate not having to lift a finger for anything. He calls it princess treatment, and he doesn't call it special treatment, he calls it princess treatment. When you tell him it's the same thing, he gets angry, but he knows. He walks up to you when the militants finally arrive. He looks over at you, smiles, and then looks back at everyone else and scowls. A goonie gives him a nod, and he goes over to you, puts his arms around your shoulder, and gives you a kiss on the top of the head, and then goes back. You figured out it was one of those days, and you weren't mad about it. You enjoyed it. Although Kuina knew, the newcomers didn't, and Kuina had just warned them about the militants, so they were shocked. But then he does something that turns into a fight, and you defend him. Him being shocked because you know you're not the strongest, and you know that he can handle himself, but the fact that you stepped in and still provided him with the protection of at least attempting to save his life, if it was an actual threat, that is, he was kind of impressed that you would just throw yourself in a dangerous situation to protect him to the best of your ability. He thought it was really sweet that you'd actually do that for him, because no one in his life had. He was always bullied as a kid, and he never had anyone to comfort him. His parents were never home. They sucked, and no one was there to comfort him as he was being bullied. There's no one to stop it. There was nothing he could do. And so when you stepped in to protect him, he felt the overwhelming need to protect you first, like you mattered more than him. That never happened. He always thought he was the most important thing in the world once he actually ranked himself up in social standards at the beach. But he didn't. He let you fight his battle because he wanted you to feel proud of yourself. And when you won, he couldn't have been prouder. He picked you up and spun you around, but then Hatter came out of the crowd and asked, "What's going on here?" Who was fighting and why? He thought it was Niragi, but when he saw your bloodied fist, he walked up to you, grabbed you out of Niragi's arms, who struggled a bit to keep you in his arms. When Hatter finally got you away, he asked you, "Why did you fight this boy?" You looked him dead in the eye with a poker face and said, "He was trying to hurt my boy, and I was not about to let that happen." You get out of Hatter's grip and go right back to Niragi, who had the widest smile on his face and a slight dusting of blush on his face. He'd never had someone be so protective and yet adorable by his side, and he loved it. He loved you. He didn't care that everybody else was looking. He didn't care that the entire militant core was right there. He just wanted to sit with you in his arms and protect you forever. However, he looked over at a Goonie who looked at you, looked back at him, and nodded, signaling that he could take the rest of the night off because both of you had visas left. Of course, Niragi had just played a game the day before, and that helped him get his crazies out, but he seemed calmer when you were with him. So, he let you. He let you have Niragi for the night. He let you keep your boy, as you stated. When you made it back to Naragi's room, which was a lot bigger than yours because he was a higher rank than you, he gently set you down on the bed and cuddled up in your arms, not bothering to put you in his. You looked down, took his hair out of his man bun, and ran your fingers through it. "Hey, Niragi?" "Yes, sweetheart?" "Are you mad that I called you my boy?" He sits up and looks at you shocked. "No. Why would I be mad at you? I loved it." You looked at him wide-eyed and shocked that he'd let down his pride long enough for him to say that. You smiled and pressed your forehead to his. "Well, I'm glad you can put your pride aside for a second and say that to me." He chuckled a little bit and opened his eyes to look into yours, which were already staring at him, and said, "Well, you're my girl, so I couldn't just deny it." "Why would I do that? I don't want to be known as a liar, so I may be many, many terrible things, but I'm not a liar, princess. You need to understand that." You look at him and smile and say, Of course, I understand." You look up and kiss his forehead and push his head down back under your chest so he could sleep. "Good night, Niragi. Don't stay up any longer. You need sleep." I don't need jack shit." You scoffed at his attitude and went, "Yeah, well, then you don't need food, your guns, games, any of that. No. Not even oxygen. You're just such a tough guy." You be quiet now, princess." Giggling at his words, you finally feel him relax a little bit. You start running your fingers through his hair again, and eventually your hand makes its way to his back, where it starts tracing patterns aimlessly. Then you start tracing the patterns on his shirt, which he did not have the energy to change. You two were just laying there, together, peacefully. And you weren't mad about it. You were happy. And so was the peaceful boy on your chest, sleeping away having dreams about Lord knows what. And that is it. I don't know if this is like audible, but who knows? If this makes anyone uncomfortable, let me know, because I want to make everyone here as comfortable as I can. If this isn't some people's style, I'll make a different one, and then I'll probably do Chishia, who is another character from the show, and I might do the main character if suggested, but I figured I'd make a video because I hadn't made one in a long ass time. So if you do listen to this, thank you. And I know it's 2 a.m.